Cute, sexy, and fun. You're watching CSF Nation's own WMK TV, Channel 90. No, the title is not an oxymoron, I guess. The title is not really an oxymoron. I think that is, or hyperbolic. I think that is actually real based on some of the tweets that I found this morning. So, anyway, let's get right into it. Good morning, CSF Nation. I'm Makini, 90 Sherman Illustrator. Welcome you to Makini in the morning. Hope you guys had a great weekend. Hope your morning is off on the right foot. Thank you for starting the morning off with us. Apologies, I just woke up, so it's gonna take a little bit to get me kind of going, but we do have plenty to go over. Plus, let's get back to I want to get back to kind of the core, getting back to actually, drawing and getting back to actually doing work while we report on this, basically. So here's a little update on Kiki's progress. What we're going to do today is we're going to continue on with the grayscaling, and then we will move on to possibly laying the flats today within 2 hours, though. But we do have plenty of stuff to go over, so we're not going to waste too much more of your time. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. We got 3 people watching, and more people will start trickling in as we go along. Thank you guys so much. Thank you for the subscribers yesterday. Really appreciate that. You guys have been absolutely amazing. Let's go for 4K for the end of the year, and you guys know what I'm about to say.
Hey, if you're enjoying this program, please smack that like button and make it jiggle.
And smack that subscribe button if you want to see more art content from Makini. Thank you so much, and hope you enjoy the show.
Later.
Smack that like button, make it jiggle. Smack that subscribe button, make it jiggle. You guys have been amazing, and of course, I'll start you guys with a great jelly wig. Dangerous.
Let's up those numbers!
Let's up those numbers this week. All right, let's go ahead and say hi to everybody in the chat. I'm going to turn the music on while we switch over to the main screen. I think I kind of like this kind of new format that we're kind of using here. Switch over to the main screen, and let's go ahead and move this over. Let's go ahead and say hi to everybody in the chat before we get straight into today's topics. First up, Emerald. Good morning to you. Thank you for showing up yesterday. First Mick was on. None of these companies force install drivers in the first place. Yeah, we'll get into that. Power. Good morning. It's bad enough small social media spies on us, and it gets bad too. Now, PC hardware, nothing is sacred anymore. It is. We got two things to go over. We got a couple of things to go over. We got a video to go over because I want to cover the. We actually got two videos to go over. One is kind of, both of them are covering the. One is covering the fallout of Collective Shout. The other is V's video on the topic at hand. On that, yeah, you will need age verification to install your GPUs in the UK, and actually, there's proof of it. So there's proof of it, but. We're going to dip off topic on the third part to cover a little bit of hoopla within the Tekken side. You'll see what I'm talking about. It's very interesting. Also, to say it's very interesting. Also, I got them on Linux. Use AMD to follow because CEO of these companies are cousins. Exactly. NeoJ, good morning to you. Okay. All right. We are caught up. Music is hopefully pumping. I'm hoping the music is pumping. We are caught up. Let me know if the music is too loud. All right. Okay, we're good. We are good. And let me go ahead and get my. Let me go make sure my mic is HyperX. Perfect. Excellent. Okay, we're good to go. All right. So let me go unmute. So we got Kiki on one screen and we got the main stuff on the other screen. Now to answer your question, now like I said, the intro, the title screen is not in. Let's just say the title screen is not an oxymoron, or it's not a let's just say it's not a hyperbole. It is actually it is kind of real. It is kind of real. Apparently in the UK, because UK censorship laws are still going, it's still going and they ain't stopping, and they're basically speed running. UK is basically speed running 1984. Yes, you will need age verification. Apparently, you will need age verification to access your GPUs. And I got two tweets here from Chibi Reviews and V who brought this up. Both of them seems that the sources are actually true, and in fact, Elon Musk has entered the chat on this one and offering his thoughts on the whole situation. Like I said, guys, I am this kid. You know, this is a joke. You think this is a joke? You think that, you know, this is a complete joke? This is a, we're kind of over. People probably think that we're kind of overblowing it a bit. That, you know, we're not. They're kind of overblowing it. That, you know, it's not a big deal. Yeah, I hate to tell you, it is, and it's affecting everyone as we go along. So this is coming from Chibi Reviews. Elon Musk responds to the NVIDIA. Let's start with V's tweet first, because I did hear this one, and then I also heard 8-Bit Eric talk about this yesterday on a video he posted. So this is from V on Twitter. Dox yourself to adjust the settings on your GPU, you flipping bigot. Can anyone confirm this, by the way? I thought they were just selling this for people who want to watch Prawn. It was never... The thing that everybody needs to understand is that it was never about protecting children. It was never about, stopping with adult content. It just, adult content was the low-hanging fruit. It was never going to stop with that. It was going to, they got an inch. They found the low-hanging fruit. They found their entry point. In fact, the going after, going after the payment processors to get the adult games on Steam and itch.io taken down was only the entry point. That was only the entry. It was only a starting point. It's getting more to now that, this is all like coordinated. I think the mask has been, I don't think the mask has been slipped at this point. We all know that it wasn't a coincidence that at the time of Collective Shout bragging about getting, Steam and itch.io to ban these adult games off their platform, that we saw these new laws start trickling in with the Kids Online Safety Act, the Kids Online Safety Act in the US, which is still going through process, which we can still fight it back. We can still fight back from it. The UK Online Safety Act, the YouTube and Spotify ID verifications now to use their services. Yeah, this is not a coincidence. This was all a coordinated effort, and this all happened within the span of, say, a week. I want to say a week, if not 2 weeks at this point. So this was all, I do firmly believe that this was all a coordinated effort. But we have this image from Dubian on Twitter, and they put, WTF, I have to be 18 to use my NVIDIA GPU. And that is definitely let's just say that is definitely a red flag, to say the least. That is definitely a major major red flag. And of course, you have people like V and people like She Reviews, Madam Savvy, everybody trying to make sure that this is verified, that this is actually verifiably correct. And it turns out it is. This is coming from Chibi Reviews, who posted Mr. Obvious's tweet. Elon Musk responds to NVIDIA's graphics card app needing you to verify your age within an ID or a face scan. Mr. Obvious basically puts out, Zoomers cannot adjust their NVIDIA graphics card settings on their PCs anymore because they aren't 18 thanks to the Online Safety Act. And just remember, this is happening in the UK. Now, for those who would think that this is only going to happen in the UK, I have a bridge to sell you. Because don't think that what's going to happen in the UK is not going to trickle over here across the pond. It's not going to trickle everywhere. But apparently, you're going to need an NVIDIA graphic. You're going to need an age verification if you're under 18 in the UK to use your to access your GPU. And the thing is that you got a lot of youngsters out there who are able to get their hands on these graphics cards at a young age. You got youngsters who are building PCs at an early age, learning to actually build PCs at an early age. They're getting a head start on their tech career early age, getting a head start on their early age. So this is definitely something going to affect them as well. And it's just the whole thing with the UK Online Safety Act is just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous, and it is overstepping. It is an overstep, and this is basically the UK government, UK Parliament is basically overdosing on how much power and control they have at this point. And that's why the pushback even needs to be harder. But it's weird now that you have to have an age verification just to access your own PC GPUs. And I assume that we're probably going to hear more of this. We might hear more of this later on, but I don't want to play this Nostradamus. I don't want to play the Nostradamus card, but how far are they willing to go? Will you need an age verification just to use your PC? Just to access your own personal files on your own PC now? Will you need age verification for that too? The thing is, it never stops. It never really does stop with the. It never really does stop with the government. It never really stops with people who have this much power. You know, because soon after, they're going to continue to do more. They're going to continue to make more, and such. It's like that. They're going to continue to do all of these kind of things. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to switch over, and I'm going to put a link in the chat to V's video. I'm going to put a link to the chat. V's video. Smash JT made a video as well. You locking yourself using the age gate. If you guys want, we can use Smash or we can use V. You guys can sign in the chat. I'm gonna put a link to both Smash JT's video, and I'm gonna put a link to both V's video, and we'll pick. And you know what? Out of Smash, I love you, man. We're gonna use V for this one. So let me open this up real quick. I'm gonna put a link to V's video here. And then we're gonna switch over, and I'm gonna do lack of. Okay. So let's go to V's video, and we're going to use this right here, and I'm gonna put it here. So this is from V, Romanian TV, our favorite Romanian troll, and we'll see what he has to say about this. Check it out.
Well, if you want to adjust your graphics settings, you gotta dox yourself, you fucking bigot. Just dox yourself. It's the British national holiday right now, their gift to the world. Soon Australia wants to join.
Oh, it's Admiral Holiday.
And I think Canada, the United States, many other nations, they have now a fetish. Turns them on to dox themselves, you know, like when that robot tells you to show your driving license. It's probably the most exciting moment of that day, because
so not only that, I forgot to mention this. This was in the news last week, in fact. So apparently the UK is going to be installing, and I want to verify, make sure this is correct. So they're going to be using I remember hearing something about this, and I want to make sure that this is. Oh, that's what it was. Okay, so this is I'm going to read this from Yahoo real quick. So what we know about UK plans for alkalocks and black box recorders in new UK cars. So apparently they're going to install black boxes in UK vehicles for breathalyzers, and basically just to, you know, spy on your driver, spy on you as well. New cars manufactured in Britain may be fitted with a technology allowing for breathalyzer systems and black box style recorders in order to align with the EU laws. The Department for Transportation has written to car manufacturers confirming that it's working on the basis of presumption of alignment for UK and EU markets, according to the Telegraph. Manufacturers say the move will cut costs and drive trade with the bloc. British and EU law indistinguishable before the UK left the EU in Brexit. Then in 2022, Brussels began phrasing the General Safety Regulation 2, which means the rules have diverged. The rules mean a number of additional safety features required on a new cars being sold in the EU, including the installation of a breathalyzer interface. These alkalocks using a breathalyzer interface are not yet mandatory in Britain, and no laws are planned for the introduction of cars being used here, which it will be soon enough. Just guarantee, mark my words. While Brussels has not demanded the UK align with vehicle safety laws, car manufacturers believe following EU standards will make it easier and cheaper to produce uniform vehicles that can be sold in the UK and EU markets. Following the UK's exit from Brexit, exits from the EU during Brexit, difference between UK and EU regulations means some manufacturers will specifically make it for the GB market, a UK government spokesman said. This add cost manufacturing process is liable to be passed on to GB customers, Great Britain customers. So we are considering aligning with the EU safety regulations and keep car prices down. An REC poll conducted earlier this year that revealed that 53% of motorists want to see these alkolocks fit into their vehicles so drivers can't reoffend. The ETSC estimated in 2022 that the measure for EU vehicles could cut collisions down by 30%. It could save 25,000 lives across Europe for the next 15 years. Since July of last year, new vehicles in the EU have been pre-installed with an interface allowing a breathalyzer-based locking system to be connected to the car, which stops the vehicle if the driver fails a breathalyzer test. These so-called alkolocks are not compulsory in the EU, just the interface on newly built cars and alignment would make this a requirement in the UK. The UK government is consulting the car industry with no set date on newly built cars any new built cars must comply. EU general safety regulations too, which has become a mandatory for all new cars since July of last year, requires new cars to be pre-fitted with several additional safety systems. This includes fitting of driver drowsiness and attention warning, and even event data recorders, EDRs. They also require intelligent speed assistance, driver distraction warning systems, emergency stop systems, reversing direction systems, accurate tire pressure and monitor. As it stands, the GSR2 rules apply to cars sold in Northern Ireland, which follows many EU regulations under the Brexit agreement to avoid a hard border with the Republic of Ireland, which is a member of the EU. Even though safety regulation is not compulsory, many manufacturers install it because their vehicles are designed for EU market. And it goes much further into the whole having a built-in breathalyzer within EU cars that has been added to it. With the black box, but one thing that was very interesting was that they were going to fit black boxes in here. It is often referred to, it is a breathalyzer, but with the black box, fitted directly in a car, it allows the driver to blow into the device before the engine can start. If alcohol is detected for a set legal limit, the car will not start. EDRs are similar to an airline black boxes and require critical vehicle data during armed crash near event, including speed, braking, steering, and airbag deployment status to help investigators understand the circumstances of an accident. A DDoS system is designed to detect early signs of fatigue in drivers and warnings to help correctly evaluate action and direct behavior in cars such as irregular steering or lane departures. Something I found this interesting because I heard about this because it goes into, within a built-in breathalyzer test, which in theory sounds like a good idea, but it can go into using UK using kind of black boxes and especially in newer vehicles to essentially spy on people, because I think that's where it's going to lead to. I'm serious. I really do think that's where it's going to lead to next. So, especially with the implementation of black box style recorders. Sorry, I just wanted to go off on a tangent there and bring that up. So, anyway, that to be.
Because you're a moral, pious individual that's protecting children. For those of you who don't know, that was actually the statement of a British politician 2 days ago, right? Like he appeared in front of the nation and he said that every time you dox yourself and you do not use a VPN, you're protecting children. Can you imagine how many children he protected so far?
So how many, yeah, and that's actually a good question. How many children were actually protected with adults having to, dox themselves at this point? Like, how many children were actually protected by that? I'm very curious, because really, the same can be said with, all of these acts and everything. Like, how many, especially with like collective shout, like how many women were actually protected when, all of those adult games were banned on Steam and off of Steam and itch.io? How many women were actually protected? How many children were actually protected when those games were not meant for children in the first place? This is about control. It was never about protecting children. It was never about protecting women. This was all about control. Hey, Elizabeth, good morning.
Probably none, because apparently British politicians not only are using VPNs, but they're also deducting it from the taxpayer money. We're going to talk about that in a different article. But yeah, it's gotten to the point where if you want to tinker with your graphic settings, you got to dox yourself, right? Now, if you're little Billy, you know, you're a poor, harmless 17-year-old experiencing the world for the first time, not knowing the dangers of society. You can have a car in Britain, you can vote, but you're too innocent in order to be able to tinker with the NVIDIA settings, because heaven forbid you may see, I don't even fucking know what you may see there. Probably a titty, I guess. Who knows? Like, someone tell me. Like, what exactly is NVIDIA hiding? You may see some of the most vile pornography ever conceived by mankind on the NVIDIA app. I didn't know there's porn in there. Like, what was I missing out? Was there something there that I didn't know?
Yeah, that's a good point. Maybe I need to check my GPU driver to see if there's some poontang on there I probably didn't discover, you know? It's just so weird. Why do you need an age verification to access your graphics drive, to access your GPU? It makes absolutely no sense. And this is where it's going to get going to. You're going to put in laws that make no sense whatsoever and show that it was never about protecting children in the first place. It was all about control. Speaking of which, you know, the UK is not the one to talk, since, you know, the UK has an issue regarding, you know, the UK definitely has an issue regarding kind of what's been going on with migration. And yet this is a more pressing matter, you know, protecting, because this is a more important pressing matter to help protect children when you have stuff that's been going on, reports that have been going on in the EU about, you know, women, children getting taken advantage of. I'm just saying. I'm just saying, but we need to, you know, we need to go after fiction, because that hurts children, because fiction hurts children more. It's such a pathetic cop. It's such a disingenuous and just absolute dishonesty going on.
Anyway, the law is the law, right? So, like, if the British government classifies the NVIDIA app as being pornographic, just like Wikipedia, well, you gotta dox yourself. You know, in a way, I should feel good. I should feel good. Do you know how much reputation I lost over the last couple of years? Like, literally talking about this, just this. And I was like, look, if I wanted to censor the internet, if I wanted to remove internet anonymity, the way I would do it is to say, think of the children. Mm-hmm. I would get the religious sentiment against pornography on my side, right? Like, because they agree. Like, the moment you say you're banning porn, they're like, oh my goodness, yes, V, please do it for us, because we're incapable. We can't control ourselves. You know, we got the Bible in our house, but like the Bible isn't able to stop us from going on the computer and accessing these bad websites. And then you have leftists, and leftists like, yes, we need to stop the sexualization of women. We need to stop it. And so you get both of them on your side, and you start with the low-hanging fruit, because no one is willing to defend it, except some moron from Romania risking his reputation. And everyone believes that it's not about free speech, when in reality...
Well, guess what? And well, here's the thing. Here's the big surprise. Because, yeah, they have it correct. They're going against the low-hanging fruit. They're going after the low-hanging fruit because they know nobody will defend it. Well, it turns out a lot of people, especially on the internet, are actually defending that low-hanging fruit because they know where this is leading to. They know exactly where this is leading to. So they're not wrong that this is the low-hanging, that, you know, going after these adult games, these poontang games and such like that is a low-hanging fruit. Yeah, they're not wrong about that. But they also failed to underestimate the fact that there's going to be a lot. The internet is going to defend stuff like this too. The internet seen what's going to happen as this goes on, and this is really a case of fracturing the internet just so they can have more control over, you know, what you do, what you say, control over what media you can consume, and eventually control over your life, basically. You know? Because Jay, what it comes down to is the government is your parents. This has gone way beyond video games at this point, and it's why more people need to talk about it.
It is because that's how they get their foot in the door, right? Like, pornography is so tied to the internet that, as you can see, even the fucking Nvidia app probably allows you to watch pornography, right? And so it needs to be cracked down. It needs to be stopped. And now everyone has to dox themselves. Now, the interesting part is that I was like initially thinking, like, no fucking way, this is ridiculous. Like, surely it's not like that bad, you know? Like, surely they haven't gone all the way to 11. And maybe this is fake. Now, I can't verify it because I don't live in Britain, right? So, like, I would have to take my computer, go all the way to Britain, install an NVIDIA graphics card, and check it. But apparently, no.
And that's the thing. And that is the thing, too. And that's the thing. Even I forget to kind of remind myself about this, is that a lot of stuff that we're reporting, even if, you know, if it's verified, still take everything with a small grain of salt. Just take. I would still advise everyone, especially everybody who's watching, you know, my content, and as I'm covering all these news, everything, these censorship discussions, stuff like that, is that even though, you know, we'll go in and try to make sure it's all verified, still take everything with a grain of salt. You know, still just take everything with a grain of salt, naturally. So.
But it's true, right? Because even Elon Musk is pointing it out, right? And I did the thing, like, Grok, is it true? I did the fucking thing, and Grok tells me, yes, it is. So I think it is, because I also asked some British people. And yes, they need to dox themselves. And here's the explanation, right? The app includes social and sharing features. Chat, game capture, GeForce Now, which fails under the Britain's vigilant eye. The law forces age checks to protect the minors, or fines up to 10% of global revenue, or get blocked in the UK. I feel bad for the UK, except that, well, they did vote those folks in. But see, like, on one hand, I would agree. But on the other hand, I'm pretty sure the other folks would have done the same. And the worst thing is, like, yes, you know, like, most British people do agree with this. How many? Enough for this to stay. Right? Like, an overwhelming amount of British people do not give a shit. The problem is like this. I don't care how British people want to live. If they want to dox themselves, that's fine. You know, I don't go into their fucking kitchen to tell them how to behave. You know, if they're incapable of figuring out how parental controls work on an iPad, that's fine. But the fact that I'm not in Britain, the fact that I have 1 year left without having to deal with this shit, because the European Union is going to put their own legislation, right? And so, like, I had 1 more year of freedom. I had 1 more year of the internet, and it's being enforced on me with this nonsense. That's not fine. The UK is authoritarian.
And this is where the problem is. That's where the problem is. I'm noticing kind of like a big dip in, like, the view count right now. I'm noticing it. I'm noticing jumps in view count right now. But that's the thing. It's like okay, you want to have these because you guys don't know how parental controls work. Basically, guys don't know how parental controls work. Okay, you want to. I'm against this, but if this was only happening in the UK, then definitely that would be a controlled issue. But that's not what's happening. What's happening is they're going to make this mandatory. This is going to be mandatory across the world. They want everyone to. They want this to be applicable to everybody now. Even if you're not in the UK, even if you're not in the EU, the Kids Online Safety Act in the US, that bill is a shining example of that. They want those same regulations here in the States. They want those same regulations worldwide, basically. That's what I'm saying, that this is basically just speed running UK is just basically speed running the Orwellian future, basically at this point. I mean, I said basically like 3 times, but yeah, it's what they do here is going to happen everywhere else. Eventually, it will happen to everyone else. That's why people are worried. That's why people are worried about the internet right now. That's why people are speaking up right now. That's why more and more people are speaking up about this right now. Because they can't help themselves. Because it was never about children in the first place.
This is my favorite take, right? Online gaming is not affected. Oh, you sweet summer child. Of course it is. You want to play GTA 6 online? Dox yourself. Just fucking dox yourself. Literally what you gotta do. Dox yourself everywhere. And unless you're a politician, if you don't want to dox yourself, if you want to maintain your anonymity, run for office, right? Become a politician, become a bureaucrat, and then you can actually be like a respectable person. Still.
Yeah, this is relating to another video that V made last week that apparently the only type of people who are still allowed to have anonymity are apparently politicians. Are apparently politicians. Apparently politicians will be the only type of people to allowed to have any form of anonymity and security, and not having to put their own government IDs in the for all of this verification nonsense, all this censorship nonsense. So yeah, it was never about protecting children in the first place, and anybody who's telling you that is completely delusional and completely lying to themselves at this point.
As I keep saying, I don't think this thing will last. I give it 5 to 10 years until it goes away. Unfortunately, though, it may not go away completely. The internet may be terminally fucked by then. But it's usually how things go in history. Like, maximum level of control eventually results in maximum level of anarchy. Because when people, like, here's the thing, right? And this is what individuals don't understand. Like, why no matter what system you have, whether it's a monarchy, whether it's fascism, whether it's a democracy, whatever, at the end of the day, the will of the people still matters. The consent of the governed. Why? Because if you pass a law that no one agrees with and everyone thinks it's retarded, eventually the cops are going to look the other way. The enforcers stop enforcing. People are they like, the law is written, but like, people are willing to accept bribes, and that's pretty much what's going to happen here. That's my take. This is also what happened during the pandemic. Like, in nations where they genuinely disagreed en masse with the measures, you had doctors vaccinating people by the sink. In other words, like, they would throw the vaccine in the sink and then just give a QR code to the now healthy person. You would have police officers stopping to enforce people wearing masks. Like, the law was written, right? Like, everything was there, but like, people just stopped enforcing it. And that's pretty much what happens, especially when this.
Yeah, but at the same time here, and I'm gonna to make sure I try to tip my toes when I bring this up, in relation to what happened with the what happened back in 2020 and stuff like that. That the blatant hypocrisy was, you have to stay inside and wear a mask, but if you're protesting for BLM, it's totally fine. Apparently, the virus would never practice safe distance except when you're protesting for Black Lives Matter. So yeah, I'm just saying. Apparently, the virus was it was immune to protesting, for St. Floyd. Just saying. I'm just saying.
Thing has been done without convincing the public. Like, there was never actual debates. There was never actual campaigning. Like, it simply came out of the blue and it swept the entire internet, and it keeps coming from other nations. And they refuse any inquiry. They refuse any debate. Their entire argument is purely emotional, driven to 11 hysteria. They're not willing to look at any other possibilities, any other ways of protecting the children. And again, like, not to mention, like, our entire generation grew up with this internet. We're fine. We're fine. I know. Always nice. Okay. Dude, compare us to the generation of the lost that went through World War I, or the generation that went through World War II, right? Wasn't a big deal then. It's not a fucking big deal now. This is exaggerated. Like, the thing is, this level of censorship and dystopian is actually worse than if 17-year-old little Billy manages to watch a titty every now and then. Like, I'm sorry to say it. I gotta fucking say it at some point, right?
Yeah.
It's like, first of all, little Billy should have the parental controls from his parents, should have parenting as well. But I don't think, like, giving up internet anonymity for his entire fucking life and ending up into a dystopian system for his entire life is actually worth the price for him, like, never seeing a fucking titty. I don't want him to see a fucking titty, by the way, right? But, like, at some point, you gotta ask, at what price? And if the cure is actually worse than the disease, surely there can be different cures. Surely there can be other options that we can explore. Surely there can be other methods and other means, like, I don't know, make a device that has inbuilt features not to allow the browsing of certain websites. And give that to little Billy. And there you fucking go, right? Don't make adults dox themselves. Regardless, it is what it is. Let me know what you guys think. And as usual, I will see you on my live stream. Take care.
Yeah, so that was V. Go ahead, subscribe to V. Go check that out. I wanted to, speaking of which, and that's actually the other V thing I want to bring up. Let me see if I can find it. So this is from PC Gamer, and this is going to be a little bit of a longer article, but I'll see if we can. Let me see if I can find it. I'm wondering if my boys over at that Park Place may have a different article about this. They got the MasterCard hit with the community note, but what about? Okay, maybe not Okay, maybe not here, but Valve did. So on Saturday, we covered MasterCard's disingenuous and dishonest response to not censoring the games and such like that, and to which they got a major community noted, basically showing that they were lying. That yes, they did have involvement in all those games being taken off both Steam and itch.io. Apparently Valve actually pushed back against that too. If I could find another, I just want to see if Bounding or anybody else has made articles about that. I will also actually, probably a good thing is I'll probably need to bring this up, the trading card. Pokemon's in some hot water, so that'll be very interesting. Yeah, so okay, so then we'll check this with Valve. So apparently, let me see if I can find a really good shorter article on this one. If it's a longer, I really hate using Kotaku and others. Ugh. Okay. All right, guys, this is from Kotaku, and please take this with a grain of salt. Just it's Kotaku. What do you think, Getch? MasterCard has broken its silence after being thrust in the middle of a gaming culture war between anti-prawn advocates and anti-censorship advocates. No, basically normal human beings and collective shout and all these payment processors. While Valve previously laid blame for the recent purge of adult sex games from Steam at the feet of payment processors and their related card networks and banks, MasterCard released a statement on Friday denying any responsibility for any new wave of censorship that has recently led some gamers to flood payment companies and call centers with complaints, which I am 1,000% behind. You know, if they want to play if this is the kind of game they want to play, if they want to go that route, then yeah, 2 can play at that game. I'm not gonna. It's you want to try to play a moral card on us? No, it's not gonna work, because they did exactly because what people are doing right now is exactly what Collective Shout did to get those games banned off of Steam and itch.io. They are doing exactly we're doing is just exactly what they did. So yeah, using their own tactics against them. Sorry, I had to bring that up real quick. MasterCard has not evaluated any game or required any restrictions of activity or criticized platforms, which it's true, but at the same time, it's also lying. Contrary to media reports and allegations, which the company wrote a statement on its website and on its MasterCard news account on Twitter, which got ridiculously ratioed and community noted. Put simply, we allow all lawful purchases on our network at the same time. We require merchants to have appropriate controls to ensure MasterCard cards cannot be used for unlawful purchase, including illegal content, which that was deemed a complete lie because they have a history of going after Japanese companies that sell adult content by threatening to take their payment processors out of the picture. Which they were community noted, by the way. They were majorly community noted by that on Friday. Not only that, all of the games that were on Steam and itch.io that were removed, those were legal too. Those were actually legal. So yeah, Valve in a way MasterCard and Visa they were basically lying. It was just basically lying at this point. So, based on rule of law, put simply, what content? MasterCard have been on the receiving end of anti-game censorship and anti-game censorship backlash after the anti-prawn group Collective Shout claimed victory in a writing campaign of payment company CEOs for allegedly profiting of what the group called violent poontang. Critics of the move recently told Kotaku they have been calling companies multiple times over the last week to complain about Valve and indie game shop to itch.io to purge seemingly legal NSFW content from their platforms over fears of reportedly being dropped by MasterCard and others. To be clear, MasterCard hasn't been involved at all. It's just that no further enforcing existing guidelines against unlawful purchases, including illegal adult content, but renewed crackdown on those requirements can vig in practice, but has resulted in Valve and itch.io delisting anywhere from hundreds of thousands of gamers at the worry they could get in trouble with MasterCard and others. Earlier today, itch.io founder Leif Corcoran announced the indie storefront is bringing back delisted NSFW games that were free, but it's still ongoing discussions with payment processors over paid content, which will be reintroduced slowly, which it is a step in the right direction. It could suggest the recent calling campaigns castigating the credit card companies have changed for the calculus and for the companies involved. It certainly sounds like MasterCard regrets ever being dragged in this fight, even though they're the ones in the driver's seat. This is updated as of Saturday. Saturday. Was it Friday the 1st? What's today? Oh, as of Friday. This was updated as of Friday. In a statement, Kotaku's spokesperson for Valve said that while MasterCard did not communicate with it directly, concerns came through payment processor and banking intermediaries. They said payment processors rejected Valve's guidelines for moderating illegal content on Steam, citing MasterCard's Rule 5.12.7. MasterCard did not communicate with Valve directly, despite our request to do so. Valve's statement sent over the email to Kotaku reads, MasterCard communicated with payment processors and they're acquiring banks. So basically, yeah, MasterCard went into the banks for Valve and Steam to get those pulled from their platforms, Valve and itch.io, I mean. And we replied by outing Steam's policy of 2018, attempting to distribute games that are illegal for distribution. Payment processors rejected this and specifically cited MasterCard's Rule 5.12.7 and risk the MasterCard brand as a risk to the MasterCard brand. Rule 5.12.7 states, a merchant must not submit to its acquirer and a customer must not submit to the Entertain system. Any transaction that is illegal or in sole discretion of the corporation may damage the goodwill of the corporation, reflect negatively on its marks, which that is a bold-faced lie. You don't even... The thing is that... The thing is that clearly they didn't follow their own rules. They didn't even follow their own guidelines. And this was what they deem as illegal, what they deem as offensive. And that's what it comes down. And that's what this comes down to, basically. Whatever you deem as illegal, whatever you deem as offensive, is grounds for it to get banned off the platforms, despite the fact that are illegal, despite the fact that it's completely illegal, and despite the fact that it's offensive only to you and a handful of others, but you have the power to just have that completely taken off the platform. See, I really get sick of the dishonesty going on here. That it's only because we don't like that. It comes down to, we don't like this, so we're censoring it. That's what it comes down to. We don't like it, so we're getting this removed off the platform. It goes on. The sale product or service, including an image, which is patently offensive and lacks serious artistic value, as a way of example of not limitation, images of non-consensual sexual behavior, sexual exploitation of a minor, non-consensual mutilation of a person or body part, and bestiality. Any other material that the corporation deems unacceptable to sell in a connection with mark. Violations 5.12.7 can result in 5 audits or companies being dropped in their payment processors. And by the way, you went after it. It's a dishonesty because you went after Japanese companies. You went after companies that sell manga, doujinshis for quote unquote adult content as well. We don't like it, so we have to censor it. That's what it comes down to. I want to do something real quick. I'm going to do something real quick, guys. Just hang on. Let me go to hang on, let me mute this real quick. Sorry, 1 second, guys. 1 second. I want to look up something real quick. Yeah, that's what it comes down to. It's a load of fluff. It's a load of BS, basically. It really is. And it's trying to claim innocence while breaking the rule, and it's trying to play victim, basically. So yeah, it's pathetic. It is absolutely pathetic. And they're full of crap. They're just full of crap. Anyway, sorry. Let me find this here. Yeah, MasterCard broke in silence. Sorry, I'm looking at Senkaku Complex. You enforce this laws in Japan, and it's saying that doujinshis could damage the brand and such like that. And yeah, people are pushing back. And now you're acting like the victim. Not surprising in the slightest. Not freaking surprising in the slightest. Now, I want to bring up something I thought this was very, very interesting. Yeah, surprising. Yeah, like I said, not surprising in the slightest. Anyway, we got a lot to go over. Jesus Christ, this has been crazy. This has been absolute insanity. So yeah, they're full of crap. They're absolutely full of crap, and I want to. Let me find what was another one that they were going over? What was the other one? What was another one that they were going over? We're gonna save this one. We're gonna save this one. And let me switch over. Let me switch over to the main stage here. Oh, sorry. Wrong one. Okay, there we go. So I'm gonna go off on the cuff just a little bit before I want to show like the next video and such like that. And apparently, Collective Shout are basically continuing to play the victim, continuing to lock down their accounts and such like that, basically limiting their replies, or in their official Twitter accounts case, completely go private. They're still spewing a lot of BS and nonsense, claiming that they're trying to protect women and abuse victims from all of these adult games, which they have not shown once. They have not shown. They have not revealed what game or actually who was actually affected by these, and how this is somehow going to benefit. This is somehow going to benefit women and abuse victims by having these games removed from the platform, when most people didn't know these damn games existed. Let's be honest here. Most people didn't even know these games existed. And it's just it's just basically exhuming their control. And for me specifically, I can't take anything serious. I can't take what they say seriously. I honestly, I'm very much adamant against what they say at this point. And the whole thing with the payment process with MasterCard and, MasterCard, Visa, and the payment processors is pretty simple. They're lying. This is all about control. Because remember, Visa and MasterCard have 80% of the market. They have that cornerstone of the market. Everything you own, everything you have is through MasterCard. Everything you have is through Visa, basically, for the most part. Most people in the world use MasterCard and Visas for purchases and stuff like that. And they're a payment processor first and foremost. They don't get to dictate, what kind of content people are allowed to buy and purchase with their own money, by the way. So them playing victim is just showing that they're nervous. They are completely nervous, and they're feeling the pressure. And that's why I was saying, like, over the last week, and especially through yesterday, you cannot stop putting the pressure. You got to stay vigilant. You have to. Because as what we were showing with the GPU situation, they're just going to ramp it up. It's not going to stop. It was never about adult games in the first place. It was never about poontang, protecting children in the first place. It was all about enacting control. It was all about enacting control. You can't see it any other way, because everybody's being affected. And by the way, there was a tweet that I saw. There was a couple tweets that I saw that with people trying to defend this, and the whole spiel was that just wait until they start classifying, LGBTQ content as in those same parameters and want those removed from the platform. Now wait, they already have. It's going to be a thing where if people have to band together, people are just going to get tired of this, man. If people are just ultimately going to get tired of this whole thing. So I don't know. I really don't know what to tell you. I really, really, really don't know what to tell you on this point. And man, I want to keep talking about it. I know people like Chibi Reviews, Hypnotic, Madam Savvy, they're all going to keep talking about this. Because this ain't going to stop. It's just never going to stop at this point. So I'm kind of like detailing the like going doing a contact layer on Kiki's curls right now. Good morning, Lucky Nico. And I do feel, and I'm with you, Jay. I do feel bitter too. I definitely feel a lot bitter with the people advocating for this. Honestly, I feel a lot more trepidatious now too. No worries, Nico. No worries whatsoever. Okay. Now, we're going to detour just for a moment. And I want you guys to look at the screen. Because this was interesting, to say the least. This is interesting to say the least. I saw this on. So I'm gonna show you a little. I want to show you a little side by side comparison. I'm gonna show you a little side by side comparison real quick. The first comparison I'm gonna show you is, and then we're gonna get to another video from
Japan is.
We're gonna get to another video from V Lack of Entertainment, but I want to show you guys a side by side comparison real quick. Yeah, and I found this humorous. Let's just say I found this kind of humorous in a way. Let me see if I can find it. We got some new stuff here. Okay, we got some new stuff here. Okay, so I'm gonna have to. Okay, so I'm going to bring this up from Haley.
Payments and
we're gonna bring this up from Haley on Twitter, but I want to show you something real quick. I'm gonna do it. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a side by side comparison right now. Let me go in. Thank you guys so much. Thank you guys for being patient with me. Smack that like button, make it jiggle, smack that subscribe button, make it jiggle as well, especially. And let me know, guys, in the comments what your thoughts on all of this hoopla. And because I'm not going to stop talking about it. So I'm going to show you guys a side by side comparison real quick. So the first one, let's go in here because I found this kind of humorous. I found this a bit humorous though. So Tekken 8. You guys play Tekken 8. Everybody play Tekken 8. I think from what I've seen, Tekken 8 has definitely gotten like a very mixed to positive response, especially within the fighting game community and such like that. They seem to kind of have dropped the ball in a way when it comes to like balancing and updates and such like that, and they are working vigorously to kind of update with that. Although I found this very amusing, is that so Evo happened this weekend, and we got a lot of new reveals, such as Lucy from Cyberpunk Edge Runners being a guest character in Guilty Gear Strive, which, to be honest with you, if you guys did not see the Lucy trailer, I think it's straight fire. I think it's absolute fire because, one, she looks exactly like she was just plucked straight from Cyberpunk Edge Runners, and I mean that legitimately. She looks exactly beat for beat straight from that anime. And not only that, they really did a good job of making her fit into the Guilty Gear universe. So we saw that. Now we also saw if you guys caught Makini live earlier yesterday, I did show off the reveal trailer for Crimson Viper in Street Fighter 4 and Street Fighter 6, and she looks fantastic. It is 100%. That is a straight 100%. You know, like I'm digging it. Like even Neo J was saying, like that is a trip to HR that probably wouldn't be a bad thing. Crimson Viper's design. Well, something else happened over the weekend. Tekken 8 revealed. Not only did they reveal new characters, but they also revealed some summer outfits because, you know, why not? There's some summer swimsuit outfits. They don't shy away from it. Let's put it that way. They definitely Tekken does not shy away from the summer outfits, you know, unlike other kind of things that we've seen nowadays. And granted, when it comes to like summer skins and such like that, you mostly see that in gacha games, but Tekken was not to shy away. However, there was one little glaring issue, and I want you guys to spot what was the issue? I want you guys to kind of spot the issue, okay? So you guys ready? Are you guys ready? All right. Loki, thank you for the raid, brother. All right. I want you guys to spot the issue. Okay. So what you have on the left is Asuka Kazama, Jin's cousin from previous entries in the Tekken timeline. Asuka is a fan favorite. Asuka is definitely a fan favorite. Let's not beat around the bush. Asuka is definitely a fan favorite, especially with her interactions between her and Lily. Now, I want you to look on the screen at the right. Can anyone in the chat point out a little issue that I have with the image on the right? I'm going to let the chat figure out what is the issue here. I'm going to give you guys 1 minute to figure it out. Jay says she looks a little small, a little bit small in the chest area. That is a good point to put out, but that's not the glaring point. So close. I want to see. I want everybody else, James, Penny, everybody else, Jedi Master. Can anyone else point out a glaring issue? Power is saying her shoulders. Penny is saying her shoulders are too broad. James saying her shoulders are wider than her hips. Christian is saying she looks a bit masculine. To everybody who answered that, you, sir, all deserve to everybody who answered that question, you all deserve yeah. Tekken, Namco, Horizon, just curious question. I have a curious question. Where's her neck? That's one question. Where's her neck? Why are her shoulders a bit too broad? A bit too broad. The top, it looks like a negative A cup. I'm just saying it looks like a little bit of a negative A cup. The body type looks very masculine. Let's just say that much. It looks very much like you put a feminine face on a masculine body. And Pirate Nation says Asuka in Tekken 8 looks all sorts of effed up. And this is a good reply. Bandai Namco localization teams, and this is from Spencer. I did not notice that. So they want to censor female character design. Tell them cleavage is a bit too exposed, or skirts a bit too short. Well, it's not that. It's just proportions. It's just the proportions are kind of weird. It is kind of weird. It still has a feminine body. It's just adjust the shoulder. Let's put it this way: adjust those shoulders, and I think we would be fine. It's just her head is small. Yeah, it's just really, really weird. Even her. Oh, that's right. That's right. That's right. Even her default costume has a larger chest size than what's in game. That's true. And I complimented how everybody looks so much better in the 8th iteration in Tekken 8 than they did in Tekken 7. I feel like it's a general improvement, not just a graphical improvement, but an actual general design improvement for all the characters in Tekken 8 compared to like Tekken 7. It's just this one I found to be very interesting, to say the least. But yeah, I agree. The swimsuits in Tekken 8 are boring as hell. So let's hear what V has to say, because this is funny to me.
The Type B characters from the new Tekken. We gotta look at the new body type B characters from the new Tekken. And it's absolutely hilarious because it's exactly what Grooms and I have been saying. Japan is not immune to the woke culture. It's just 4 years behind. And as you can see, when you look at these characters, like everyone is pointing out, dude, this is the character of a guy, and they just swapped the face. Like, that's it. That's what they did, right? Like, this is the male character. And you can see this.
Listen, let me put it this way. Let me put it this way. We're about to look like a linebacker. Okay, let me put it this way, guys. So, Tekken 8, the thing is with a lot of Japanese titles, and I'm noticing this, is that we praise the East a lot. We do. Let's not be around the bush. We praise the East a lot. But there's a little bit of a caveat when it comes to that. That usually when the Eastern titles get a lot of praise, we notice that it's mostly coming from Chinese and South Korean games, basically, especially when it comes to their gachas. The thing is you have to kind of remember yourself that Japan is usually far behind. Japan is having to play catch up all the time. And it seems the case that like Japan has to put major restrictions on themselves when it comes to character designs in order to appeal to the Western market. When, you know, as I explained it in an Atelier, when I covered the Atelier Ryza video, Japan, you don't need to do that. Japan generally doesn't need to. It really doesn't, because, you know, as I've always said, the West, you know, people here in the West, we appreciate, you know, Japanese content because it's unique from our own, because it's appealing, because it's different from our own. We don't want it changed just to fit to Western standards. We like it the way it is. It's just the thing is that, you know, South Korea and especially China have been just knocking it out of the park lately, especially with their, you know, titles, especially on the mobile side, on the PC, and especially in the gacha, especially in the AAA side, that it always seems that Japan has to play catch up. Like, they're always, like as V said, they're always tend to be 4 years behind. They seem to tend to kind of like shoot themselves in the foot, if you know what I mean. You know, it's like, yeah, of course we have those gems like Nier Automata. You have those gems, yeah, of course we have those gems like Nier Automata and such like that. But it's just like it always feels like it's kind of like almost feels like a dime a dozen. And I know I'm probably going to get some pushback with Atlas and their titles, and of course I mentioned Atelier, the Atelier games, Koei Tecmo, and such like that. It's just in a general sense, it always feels like Japan is like always having to play catch up in regards to this, when, you know, we're seeing this Eastern boom. We're seeing this huge Eastern boom now that but it always seems to be that Japan is the one that's getting affected the most. Now, Riot Kitty, good morning. The thing that I do want to bring up, and also, by the way, forgot Daryl. Forgot a certain person in the chat. I want to make sure I get this down, because I haven't done this in a long time, by the way. Where's my boy? Where is my boy? Okay, there you go. Daryl, by the way, speaking, just so I don't forget you, Daryl, just so I don't get you.
My nigga.
What's up, Daryl? Anyway, I got to do that for Daryl. Anyway, just want to bring that up. No, it always seems like Japan's like always like four like as we said like 4 years behind on this, and when that happens, it's just like, oh come on, guys, like they're beating your ass, and like they're literally beating your ass when it comes to like even the mobile, the gotcha games, the big titty waifu gotcha games that we play. They're beating your ass left and right, man. I'm like, Japan, come on, guys. Y'all should be the one like pioneering. Y'all should be like the leader in this. But no, man, this always seem to have to play like catch up and the whole thing. Now, it's funny because we've been talking about this global censorship. We've been talking about the censorship and everything. We're talking about the payment process and stuff like that, and how it's affecting, how it is going to have a global effect. And it's interesting that I don't bring up that, and that's something I've noticed, is that for for one reason or another, it hasn't completely hit. While it's affected Japan, while these global restrictions, this censorship has definitely had an effect on Japan, it's not so much in China, in like South Korea, where I do think that's going to happen eventually. And I think the reason is because you can't forget that a lot of the censorship implementations that we're seeing now, China did kind of kickstart that off years ago, almost a decade ago with that. And it feels like, in some ways, people are looking to China's kind of like censorship policies, kind of like going with that as a, as a manual, as an instruction manual, as a rule to follow. You know what I mean? It's interesting. It's interesting that it hasn't, that all of this hasn't touched down too much on the on that side of Asia, basically, on that side of the East, that side of the East, But but Japan's definitely been hit with that, to where that they have to where they have to be very careful. They have to oppose all these restrictions, where it's like, no, you guys were the leaders behind it. And I think that Japan really does. I think that in general, Japan not only does need to catch up, but Japan is, and they need to start developing a backbone, which I am actually really happy that they're starting to, with them pushing back against Visa and MasterCard and shit like that, because censorship is an issue. And who knows that everything that we've been talking about for the past couple weeks regarding the censorship and the payment processors, who knows if it will hit the gotcha space eventually. It'll be interesting. It will be very, very interesting. So anyway, let's continue. Xiao Yu. Okay, that's Xiao Yu. I just saw a clip of that. That's Xiao Yu, by the way. That is so. She has such a weird body type. It is. I'm sorry. It's just, that is really weird. Like, the breasts look like they're too pushed in, even though it chat. Does this does not look right. I don't think this looks right at all. I really don't think this looks right at all. Like, it really does look like they're just throwing male bodies onto female characters. And it's a weird case, because when you look at the swimsuits for a lot of the female characters in Tekken, it's just like a similar body type. But then you look at like the regular costumes for the female characters in Tekken, it's like, okay, they have much more, I guess you say, much more correct and accurate proportions. Like they have like, for example, Asuka, she looks bigger in her default costume than in her swimsuit. She looks much bigger in her default costume. It's weird. It is really, really weird. Yeah. Like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna detour this real quick. We're gonna detour this real quick, and I want to show you guys something. This is from because I do follow one fighting game channel that I do, and they just mainly post clips. Is Legacy of Kaiser. I follow Legacy of Kaiser, and I want to share you guys with this. So, and oh, Armor King has just been revealed. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Armor King has been revealed, and it's so weird. Oh wow. Okay. Oh. Okay. It's really weird though. It just looks weird. Okay, I'll show you here. It really does look like a male character's, like they use the male character's anatomy for a female character and put a female character's head on it. It looks really weird. But the other thing is that it doesn't look as defined, as well defined though, as male characters. You look at Chin. It looks like it doesn't feel as well defined. You know what I mean? Even with softer features, it doesn't look as well defined. It just looks like similar body types. I'm just going to be honest with you. This is with I think it's kind of the same thing. Like it does look, it looks stiff and it looks androgynous. You know, it just something feels off. Something just really it looks like they just stick to one body type and just went with it for all the female characters. You know what I mean? It just looks weird when let's go to and it's such a weird microcosm because I've already showed the trailer for Crimson Viper, but let me show you. They dropped a new character for Tekken 8 called Miri Zhao, and she's from Madagascar. I'll show you. Check this out. Oh, sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry about that. It's muted. Sorry about that. Okay, let me show you this. Okay, so this is a new character, Miri Zo. I'll show you. That looks better. Honestly, that does look better. It's just but although I gotta admit they do kind of follow it does kind of follow that same kind of proportionate strategy. If you kind of look at the upper body, like some parts look much larger than others. It just looks good. It's good. It just looks weird. It looks really, really weird. And I want to put this in comparison to look at Street Fighter. Let's look at Street Fighter real quick. Check this out. You ready? Then show me. All right, let's get it. Game over, yo. Too easy. Sure thing. Let's dance. Jamie's looks dope, by the way. Jamie's looks dope. You know what they say? If you rock the boat, prepare to get washed. Make way for the ninja. Fuck! Bro! Sorry. I gotta take a moment to I gotta take a moment to play this right
What?
Oh my God!
now. Okay. I do not know what the hell just happened. Okay, for some reason I can't use my virtual camera. Okay. Okay, for some reason I couldn't use my virtual camera. Okay, let me double back here. We're gonna do a side by side comparison. Let me bring this up again.
Prepare to get watched.
Guys, do you see the distinct issue here? Do you guys see the distinct problem here? Do you guys see the problem? Like, I'm gonna give a chat to I'm gonna let the chat analyze for a bit. Can you guys see the problem? Yeah, it's a little more on the androgynous side compared to, and it's like they're using all the same body type, but yet when it comes to Street Fighter though, when it comes to Street Fighter who dropped their swimsuits, it's straight fire. It's like everything looks proportionally accurate. Everything looks proportionally accurate. Everything fits. It works. Like I mentioned, Kimberly's is straight fire. Kimberly is straight fire. But every other character, it just works. I'm just saying, man. It just really looks weird.
When poison prevails, it's a wonderful feeling I have you. Another
I think Cammy's looks absolutely fantastic, and yes, plus for her being tanned. Plus with her being tanned. Yes, that's an absolute yes. But it's just like the female characters have a more unique and more fitting body types. It doesn't feel like they're running the same. They're not just copy and pasting the same body style for all the characters when it comes to the swimsuits. You get my drift.
I'll show you
Let me show you.
my
Oh my Jesus.
She bad, ain't she?
Lord Jesus Christ. I gotta go. I gotta go.
Okay, I might have to pin down. I might do some Chun-Li. I might draw some Chun-Li later. I might have to draw some Chun-Li later. Yeah, it's lazy. Like, guys, like, come on. Like, Capcom, despite all their problems, Capcom's got a lot of problems. Capcom's able to get it together. Namco, what the hell, man? Like, come on now. Come on now. Bro, I gotta share this one. Okay, look at this. Look at this. This is how she looks in game. She looks great in game, but that concept art. Hold on, that concept art. I gotta say, I'm really digging. And it's like, I don't know if it might be just the engine limitations or something, but I don't know, man. I don't know. It looks good, but that concept art looks looks better in my humble opinion. But
Oh my God!
damn, she looks good. That concept art, I love this concept art. I love it. I absolutely love it. It's funny because you're getting the faces right. Especially on dark skin characters. It's just the bodies were just really weirded out. I'm just saying. I like the jewelry. I love the jewelry. I absolutely love the jewelry that they did with her. I really like that, by the way. Sorry, just want to share that real quick. All right, let's continue. Oh, it. Oh, shit. Emerald says, I don't think I'm entirely blaming the engine, to be honest. So it's a copy and paste. It's a copy and paste. Hang on. Let me see if I can find this tweet. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Well, that's true compared to what exactly? Yeah, it's just weirded out. Smaller heads too. It's got the Hassan type heads, but this right here in the Zenless Mid UE5. I would think that female characters in Tekken have much more little more distinct in terms of body proportions, or a little bit more distinct, not a, control C, not a control C then control C then control V, basically copy and paste. The copy paste broad shoulder body type piece, 50 points to Gryffindor. Bro, that's crazy. I gotta admit, that's a little copy and paste. If you look at the screen, it looks a little bit of a copy and paste kind of thing. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I am so sorry. Okay, let's go back to the. I'm just saying it looks like a copy and paste job. I'm just saying.
It's called the gender abolition movement. Like the very idea that there is absolutely no difference between a man and a woman besides cosmetic. And most of your customers don't agree with this. Like in fact, they don't even care what the customers have to say. Because if the customers disagree, then they're bigots and they're evil people. And they end up just alienating their customers through their community managers. Because you got like the community manager, if you say that this is absolutely ridiculous, this looks ugly, this is not something that I would spend money on, you have the community manager coming out and saying, "Oh, you're gooners, you got brain, blah blah blah," like just insults after insults, attacking their community, alienating their customers further, and ending up with a game that no one wants to buy. Even trans people don't want to buy it. Like, I actually do have a couple of trans people that I speak with, and they tell me, it's like, look, when I play a video game, I want to play as a female character. Like, I already...
The problem is that you're using Control-C, Control-V to all the body types, and let's be honest here, it's not as... It's a little too much on the androgynous side. It's a little too much on the androgynous side, where you would think there would be much more diversity, way more diversity in terms of body type, way more diversity, way more variety, way more diversity, way more variety, especially with the female characters. It's just like, if this is how they all look in swimsuits, then I think that is definitely a something seems off. It just seems very, very off here. And I think it's really weirded out. And I think, and V makes a good point, just like, if you're still trying to push for this, you know, we need to, this is made by people who, this was enforced by people who want to eliminate the concept of gender just so they can feel, you know, represented. Let's be honest here. So they can feel freaking represented. Then, you know, you understand that even you would show this to probably an LGBTQ person, especially a trans person, they would probably wouldn't want to play this though. They would probably want to play as an actual, you know, they would want their female characters to look like an actual female. You know what I mean? They would want their female characters to look like an actual female. Women would want their the characters to look like, you know, women, actual female characters, you know? I'm just saying. So I don't know if it's engine limitations or if it's just straight up not like, straight up just like not reading the room, not like seeing what's going on. You know, it's really weird. It just feels like a Control-C, Control-V, you know, copy and paste. It's like, does every female character in Tekken have A cups? And it's like, no, that can't be right. That cannot be right. I think it's, and I do agree. I think it is more on just being lazy. I think it's just more on just being on a lazy. I think it's just being lazy, yeah. Like, come on, this is where the real diversity and inclusivity need to be applied to. If you think about it.
I am a guy in real life that identifies as a woman. I have a male body and I identify as a woman. Why would I want in a fantasy section to have to replay my emotional issues? It's like, no, if I'm playing a fantasy session, I want to play as a woman. And so, as you can see, you know, like I guess like body type beefication, you can call it, where you have like broad shoulders, strong jawlines, no ass, very small breasts.
Mm-hmm.
And all of this is done in order to promote gender abolition and also to shame straight men for their sex.
I think it's just downright lazy. I think in Tekken's case, I think it is downright laziness. And I think it is just a copy and paste kind of thing. And it was like, something just doesn't seem right. It's just something just seems really off. I think it is more in a case of laziness. So
sexuality. You know, people keep complaining about the birth rates and they keep putting this on men. It's like, okay, fine. But we live in a society where if a man says, okay, well, this chick is hot, immediately they get attacked saying, oh, so you're like a porn brain, you're a Kuma, you're whatever. Even though it's like a fully dressed woman, and she's like legitimately hot. And people are attacking him just for expressing his sexuality. Like, I'm sorry, this is not normal. You know, if a woman says that a football player like Ronaldinho or Messi is hot, or a famous actor, Ronaldo Bloom, is hot, no one is supposed to shame her for that, right? Like, she's just expressing her sexuality. It's normal, it's healthy. But what they are doing is they're using entertainment to constantly shame and belittle men for being straight guys. It's like, I'm sorry, straight guys are attracted into fat tits and big asses. It is what it is. And so, will this game fail to sell? I don't fucking know. It's a fighting game, right? Now,
it's just DLC.
It's not like a on-off switch where if the characters are ugly, it means the game doesn't sell. No, it's pretty much like if you make aesthetically pleasing characters, you can probably get like 15 or 20 more % of sales. If you insult your fan base, if you call them coomers and whatnot, you lose some of those sales. If you make ugly, unlikable characters.
And let me just go back into this again, because I think Street Fighter, because I think it's such an interesting dichotomy, because Street Fighter straight up nailed it. Like, I think they straight up nailed it. It's like everything feels much more proportionally accurate. Everything fits to the character, and everything, it works. And I think it might be just due to Street Fighter 6 having much more of keeping close to their style versus trying to be too realistic. And I think there was a lot more. And also, when I look at Street Fighter 6, I think there's a lot more attention to detail. There was a lot more thought put into, rather than just copy and paste, put this one girl in the swimsuit. I think there was a lot more thought put into versus what you see on this side, where it just feels like a copy and paste, product, if you get my drift.
Characters, you lose sales. It doesn't mean like you're not making a profit. It just means like there were probably like 5 or 10% of the sales that you can buy. Like I know people that actually bought what was it called? Blaze Blue or Grand Blue. Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, right? Another fighting game. Grand Blue Fantasy Versus. They bought that game simply because it had 2B near automata and it was hot. Right? So like that's still an impulse buy. That's still a purchase that someone made.
GBCF, Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, or GBVF, Grand Blue Fantasy Versus. Like, that's actually a good analogy, because I always saw like Grand Blue Fantasy, because we're in this fighting game like renaissance period where we're having more and more fighting games come out, especially from the bigger studios and stuff like that. I've always saw Grand Blue Fantasy Versus as like the underdog, kind of like that little dark horse of like the current, crop of fight games that came out. And the one thing that always caught my eye with Grand Blue Fantasy Versus was that they really, really stuck close, like eye for eye, beat for beat, exactly how the characters are depicted in their mobile spin-offs, in the mobile and based on the gacha games. And even within Grand Blue Fantasy Relink, they nailed it like beat for beat. And when they actually made the characters fitting. And one thing I also put it into is that especially with their female characters, it's straight fire, man. It's just straight fire. That's how I feel. So, but that's the other thing.
And that's a valid customer, right? Like, I don't know anyone that has seen a fighting game that has like sexy female characters, like Juri from Street Fighter, or Stellar Blade, or anything like that. And people will be like, well, I would like to buy it, but the women in this game are too hot. No one says that.
Show me one person who says that. I will wait. Show me one person who actually said that, who actually says something like that verbatim. If you ever say anything like that, then your opinion should be immediately discarded. I'm sorry, your opinion should be immediately discarded. Just saying.
But you would have a person that would overlook a game, but simply because they find massive character appeal, or they see like a very pretty female character that they like, and that convinces them to buy the game simply because of aesthetics alone. And you're basically telling those people no. You're basically telling those people, we're not going to give you what you want. And so, what ends up happening is that this is also a symptom of a larger disease. Like normal game developers, normal people do not create characters like this all across the board. Like it's one thing to have one character like this. It's another thing to have two. But when every single character looks like this, it's an ideological rot.
Sorry. Had to clear my throat. Yeah, totally. Yeah, totally. Yeah. Just had to clear my throat there for a second. Sorry. Go ahead.
And it's part of an ideology that doesn't promote excellence, doesn't promote merit, and doesn't promote competency. They're not even remotely interested.
Jay, it's like you've been waiting for that moment, didn't you? I just, you know what? You're right. You're right, Jay. You know what? You're right. Yeah. I was waiting for that moment. Yeah, I was waiting for that moment. You can thank Kyle. Those are all his collages, by the way. Yeah, yeah, I was waiting for that moment. I'm sorry. You caught me red-handed, Jay. You caught me red-handed.
A person is competent or not. And so what happens is it has usually a very toxic work environment. Like woke ideology is hyper-focused on grievance, on grifting, nepotism, especially race-based nepotism. That's their priorities. And so you end up with a system where artists aren't allowed to do whatever they want. They have to draw things that are actually ugly and not nice to look at. And so it crushes their spirit. Absolutely crushes their spirit. And you end up with all the good people leaving. And you end up with what happened with the video game industry in the West. Collapse after collapse after collapse. Studio shut down. Things not working well because people don't buy it. You know, like if everyone that actually supported this, because there's a lot of people on Twitter that do support it, if they were to actually buy the games, maybe it would actually work. But like no one is interested in buying the games. That's the big issue. And so regarding Tekken, I don't know, like I guess if the gameplay is good, right? But it's probably going to hurt esports. No one wants to watch this. Okay, like no one is interested in paying money to see this. It's a fictional character that doesn't look like fiction. It's an escapist character that doesn't allow me escapism, and it reminds me of fucking California now. And it's fucking uncanny and distracting. And again, you know, like if you want to have a trans character in the game, that's fine. But like when every single female character looks like a body type B Democrat, and they're saying, no, this is actually a woman, shut the fuck up. It's like, well, now it's insulting and gaslighting. Like, I'm sorry, people are noticing. And that's why it upsets them more. Like gaslighting upsets people more than if you were to just be honest and tell the truth. Anyway, right, this is my take. Let me know what you guys think. And as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.
This cost? I don't know. Oh, we got a lot to go. No.
Did you guys want to watch the top 10 boobies and hear all the different ways?
do we?
Oh, you made a oh no, we don't have time for this. Oh, I'm gonna save this later. I'm gonna save this one later. We don't have time for this one. It's just, I don't know, man. I don't know what to tell you, man. I don't know what to tell you. It's just hilarious. It's just interesting. Tekken will be fine. Tekken will be fine. It's Tekken, so it'll be fine. It was just very weird with what they went for. You know what I mean? It's just really weird. It's really weird. It just seems like a copy and paste, you know, Control C, Control V, copy and paste job that they were doing with the swimsuits here. So Tekken will be fine. Tekken will be fine. It's just I think moving forward, I think there needs to be much more distinction. This will be much more. There needs to be much more distinction when it comes to the body proportions of female characters. You know what I mean? This will be the start. Yeah, it can be the start. It can be the start, and I wouldn't be surprised if it was like we might. Yeah, modders will fix it. Yeah, of course, modders. And actually, modders. And to be fair, modders have fixed it. Modders have definitely fixed this before. It's just interesting that you all went for the exact same body style when it's like, that there's some, there's this like little distinctions to where it's like, especially in comparison to the swimsuit that we saw in Street Fighter 6, that there's much more distinctive body styles compared with the female characters compared to Tekken, where it's just copy and paste, basically a copy and paste job. So anyway, guys, that is going to be it from me today. Thank you, Loki, for the raid. Speaking of distinctive body styles, how does bubblegum look, by the way? I'll let you guys, how does bubblegum look? Let me know in the comments. I don't think you could render bubblegum like this. I just don't think you can. I just don't think it's possible. I joke. All right, you guys have been absolutely amazing. And not 8 out of 10, exactly. Like I said, this is a kind of funny thing with I've noticed is just like, wow. So I was correct. The Eastern devs do a great job of making better looking, darker skinned characters than the West does. So I was right on there. I was pretty much on point on that, though. So anyway, guys, that is it for me. Smack that like button, make it jiggle. Smack that subscribe button, make it jiggle. Mass thank you to everybody in the CSF Nation. You guys have been absolutely amazing. Thank you, Loki, for the raid as well. You guys are all awesome. We're at 3,400 subscribers. Let's keep going. In the words of the great Ludwig, let's up those numbers. Jellywig, let's up those numbers. And we will be back Wednesday for another episode of Makini in the morning. Thank you guys so much. Hope you guys morning. I'll stop right for it. I made a new outro. So all the names should be updated for the members as well. So hope you guys enjoyed the new outro. And that should be it. I will see you guys next time. I'm Makini 90, Arts Urban Illustrator, and thank you for tuning in to Makini in the morning. Until then, stay cute, stay sexy, have fun, take care, much love. Never apologize for wanting attractive women in your media, especially in your video games. Say no to censorship, obviously. And above all else, never stop drawing. Have a great rest of your Monday, guys. I'll see you later. I'll make some community tab posts a little bit later. Keep you guys updated with all the news and happenings going on, especially around censorship. And that should be it. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your Monday. So, love y'all.
Cute, sexy, and fun. And that is definitely the best way to describe our channel members, too. We'd like to thank everyone in the CSF Nation for your incredible support. Join the channel for as low as $1 a month to get access to exclusive art drops that Makini drops every 2 months for his channel members. And all your support goes to helping out the channel and helping Makini put out the best content he can for you all to view and you all to enjoy. He appreciates all of your support, and we also appreciate your support as well. CSF Nation for life. Mwah! Gracias. Thank you for tuning in to Makini in the morning and getting your morning started off on the right foot with us. If you enjoy this program, please smack that like button and make it jiggle. Share the show out to everyone you know. Tell your friends, tell everyone, tell everyone. Become a channel member for as low as $1 a month. You want to support Makini further, and if you want to see more content from Makini and help him reach his 6K subscriber goal, hit that subscribe button. He would really, really appreciate it. I am Marisa Tali, producer and weather girl for this very program, and we all wish you a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. Stay safe out there. We will see you all next time here on Makini in the morning. Mwah! Makini in the Morning is filmed before a live studio audience at Makini Studios in Arcadia Village's South Tower, right here in Pacific City. We know that you guys love waking up with us here on Makini in the Morning, but if you would like to actually be in the live taping of Makini in the Morning, all you have to do is visit youtube.com/Makini90 or call 765-9077 toll free for free tickets. We would love to see you here in the audience for our next Makini in the Morning live show. Makini in the Morning is produced by Silver Nine Productions with Makini Jaws Productions in association with Enisa Laka Television and Makar Banks Entertainment, and is distributed by CSF Nation Domestic Television Distribution.